Hey everyone, I'm going to give you a straightforward look at the HP LaserJet Enterprise MFP M528c, the kind of machine that shows up on a lot of office supply lists but also makes some people pause. When you're deciding whether to spend a few $1,000s on a workhorse printer, the stakes feel higher because a bad fit can mean wasted space, wasted ink, and a whole lot of frustration. So I'm going to walk through the things that matter in day-to-day use, not just the headline specs. If you want to check the product details on Amazon, the link is in the description. First, let's talk about the environment this printer is built for. The M528c is positioned as an enterprise-grade, monochrome all-in-one, which means it's meant for businesses that push a lot of black and white documents through their doors: legal firms, accounting offices, even busy university departments. If you're a home office that prints a few pages a week, you'll probably be paying for capabilities you'll never tap. Conversely, if you run a small to medium team that needs reliable copy, scan, fax and double-sided printing on a daily basis, the M528c starts to sound a lot more appealing. One of the first practical decisions people wrestle with is connectivity. This model comes with a built-in Ethernet port, and the HP WebJet admin console promises centralized control. In practice, that means an IT admin can roll out policies, enforce secure printing, and keep tabs on usage without needing to touch each unit. For a company that already uses HP's fleet management tools, that's a genuine time saver. I've spoken with a couple of office managers who said they were able to set up a print release workflow in under an hour, which stopped confidential documents from landing on the wrong tray. If you don't have a centralized print server or aren't comfortable with network configuration, you might find the initial setup a bit more involved than a plug-and-play USB printer. Now let's get into the day-to-day workflow. The 8-inch color touchscreen is one of the most noticeable features. In the field, the screen is bright enough to read in a well-lit office, and the icons are organized around the 4 core functions: print, scan, copy, fax. Users who have a mix of scanning needs, like turning a stack of receipts into searchable PDFs, appreciate that the scanner can feed directly into cloud services via the built-in options. That said, the touchscreen isn't a full-blown tablet. There's a learning curve if you're used to a simple button panel, and occasional lag can appear when you're juggling multiple jobs. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's something to be aware of if your staff prefers tactile buttons. Print speed is another area where the M528c lives up to its enterprise label. At roughly 45 pages per minute for black and white output, a typical two-sided print job of a 200-page report finishes in just a few minutes. That speed is most noticeable when you have a rush order, think end-of-month financial statements or legal briefs that need to be handed out in a meeting. Because the unit uses laser technology, the output is crisp and consistent, and the toner cartridge yields a high page count, which translates to a lower cost per page over time. The trade-off? The upfront price of the machine and the high-capacity toner cartridges are higher than a standard office laser printer, so you need the volume to justify the expense. Security is a buzzword that appears in every printer brochure, and HP leans into it heavily here. The world's most secure printing claim refers to built-in encryption and secure boot processes that protect data while it's traveling to the printer and while it sits in memory. For organizations that handle sensitive client information, law firms, medical offices, or any entity bound by compliance standards, this is more than a marketing line, it's a requirement. If your data isn't especially sensitive, you may not notice the difference, but the feature does add peace of mind for those who need it. On the downside, the M528c is a sizable piece of equipment. Its footprint is roughly the size of a small desk and it weighs over 70 pounds, so you need a dedicated space that can handle the weight and allow for ventilation. The machine also has a fairly loud operation, especially during a high-volume print run. In an open-plan office, that could be a distraction, so you might want to place it in a quieter nook or a dedicated print room. Another practical weakness that pops up in real-world discussions is the fax function. While the device does include fax capability, you need a separate line, and the user interface for fax isn't as intuitive as older dedicated fax machines. If fax is a core part of your workflow, you may need to invest time in training or consider a dedicated fax solution. Who should buy this printer? If you run a team of 5 or more, print more than a few hundred pages a day, and need a reliable, secure, network-managed solution, the M528c checks most of those boxes. Its speed, duplex printing, and integrated scanning to cloud are genuine productivity boosters. The printer also shines for